In the heart of Central Asia, a nation is betting everything on a colossal engineering marvel, the world's tallest dam. As one of the poorest countries in Central Asia, where winter darkness has long been a way of life, the world's tallest hydroelectric dam is slowly taking shape. A 1,100-foot concrete colossus that stands as both an engineering marvel and a symbol of national aspiration. For over 30 years, Tajikistan has fought to build the Rogun Dam, a structure that promises to end the country's chronic energy shortages and transform it into Central Asia's powerhouse. With a price tag of $6.3 billion, more than half the country's GDP, the project represents an enormous gamble for one of the region's poorest nations. Tajikistan, a landlocked country lying in the heart of Central Asia. It is bordered by Kyrgyzstan on the north, China on the east, Afghanistan on the south, and Uzbekistan on the west and northwest. Tajikistan encompasses the smallest amount of land among the 5 Central Asian states, but in terms of elevation, it surpasses them all, enclosing more and higher mountains than any other country in the region. This project will become a symbol of the country's economic hopes and plans. The Rogun Dam will bring the country into a future where it has a certain amount of energy independence. For 70% of Tajikistan's 10 million citizens, winter means predictable power cuts. When water levels drop in the colder months, the country's existing hydropower network, primarily the Soviet-era Rogun Dam, when its construction started in 1961 and completed in 1980, provides 60% of the country's electricity, simply cannot keep up with demand. The Rogun Dam is one of the world's highest dams, standing at about 984 feet. The dam is 2,309 feet wide and can generate 2,700 megawatts of electricity, and the water impounded is used to irrigate some 1,600,000 acres of farmland. It is located on the Vaksh River in Tajikistan near the border with Afghanistan. The practical impacts are severe. Hospitals ration electricity, factories shut down, and families gather around single light bulbs during the few hours of power they receive daily. Schools operate without heat, and businesses struggle to maintain operations. Rogun is designed to change all that. With 6 massive turbines and a reservoir capable of holding the equivalent of 5 million Olympic swimming pools, the completed dam would nearly double Tajikistan's energy output. In summer months, when water is abundant, Tajikistan plans to sell up to 70% of the dam's electricity to neighbors like Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, creating revenue that can fund gas imports when winter arrives. A larger reservoir creates greater water pressure, allowing more turbines to generate electricity, leading to higher power output. What makes the Rogun Dam particularly remarkable is its immense scale, engineered to provide consistent electricity generation throughout the year, even during winter when water flow usually decreases. The road to Rogun has been anything but smooth. Initially conceived during the Soviet era in the 1970s, construction began in the 1980s but stalled as the USSR collapsed. Since then, Tajikistan's efforts to secure funding have read like a chronicle of disappointments. The World Bank long refused to finance construction, primarily due to concerns about regional water conflicts. Uzbekistan, a downstream neighbor dependent on the same river systems for its crucial agricultural sector, vehemently opposed the project under former President Islam Karimov. The distrust between these countries in the 90s and 2000s was profound, notes Dr. Jamshid Kolov, a regional security expert. The Uzbek leadership was convinced that Tajikistan would weaponize the dam to limit Uzbekistan's water supply. It wasn't just economic concern, it was existential. When Russian aluminum giant Rusal offered funding in exchange for a stake in Tajikistan's aluminum plant, negotiations ultimately collapsed over ownership disputes and Rusal's proposal to reduce the dam's height, a compromise Tajikistan refused to consider. Tajikistan has never been interested in downsizing the project, says Rahman. Yes, maximum height means maximum energy output, but there's also undeniable symbolism involved. For a small, poor nation to build the world's tallest dam, that makes a statement on the world stage. Faced with international reluctance, Tajikistan took extraordinary steps to fund the dam itself. In the 2010s, the government essentially forced citizens to purchase Rogun bonds, despite the average monthly salary hovering around $150. In 2017, the country issued its first-ever Eurobond for $500 million. These efforts, while controversial, yielded results. Two of the dam's 6 planned turbines are already operational, producing enough electricity to make a noticeable difference during peak summer months. But completing the project still required international support that remained elusive until recently. In December 2024, the World Bank announced a breakthrough. A global consortium would provide approximately $3 billion toward Rogun's completion. This investment, covering almost half the remaining costs, includes funding from the Asian Development Bank, European Investment Bank, and Islamic Development Bank. Conspicuously absent from the consortium was Russia. Experts point to 2 key factors behind this shift. First, Uzbekistan's stance has softened significantly under President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, who has pursued regional cooperation since succeeding Karimov in 2016. Both countries have realized there's a win-win scenario. If they integrate their energy systems as they did during the Soviet era, Tajikistan gets winter gas while Uzbekistan gets summer electricity. It's mutually beneficial. The second factor is Russia's diminished influence amid its ongoing war in Ukraine. With Moscow's attention and resources directed westward, other international players have stepped into the vacuum. European and American interests in reducing Russian influence in Central Asia have undoubtedly helped secure this funding package. The sanctions regime against Russia has created both challenges and opportunities for Central Asian nations. They're walking a tightrope, neither wanting to anger Russia nor the West. The Kremlin, in a statement, emphasized its strong relationship with Tajikistan, but described Rogun as a purely commercial project. For President Emomali Rahmon, who has led Tajikistan since 1994, the dam represents both economic necessity and political legacy. His government has skillfully navigated the competing interests of global powers while maintaining the project's momentum. Tajikistan has several very big and much more powerful neighbors. They've become quite adept at playing these bigger powers against each other when necessary to achieve their objectives. With substantial funding finally secured and regional cooperation improving, experts believe Rogun will eventually reach its full potential, though the timeline remains uncertain and cost projections continue to rise. When completed, the project will also necessitate the resettlement of over 50,000 people from villages that will be submerged by the massive reservoir. For ordinary Tajiks, who have endured decades of energy insecurity, the prospect of reliable electricity represents something profound, a future where winter doesn't mean darkness. As construction continues in the shadow of the Pamir Mountains, the world's tallest dam stands as a testament to national perseverance and a reminder that in Central Asia, infrastructure has always been inseparable from power politics. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.